Hey everybody, it's Seth with Jenson USA. Today we're coming to you with Ronnie from DVO Suspension, and we're going to look into what's coming in some of the most innovative suspension tech today. So, Ronnie, why don't you give us a little bit of the rundown of like what your products are here?
How's it going? We have quite a bit of a little bit of everything going on right now. We have an enduro fork in the works. We have the Emerald getting ready to go into production in a couple of days. And we're also trying to finish up on the Jade, which you guys should see shortly after the Emerald is produced. I think we're looking at a pretty solid release time of early November. I'm going to say that loosely, early November, but you guys should be seeing stuff in your local shop, your local retailer, or their distributors pretty soon.
Very cool. So, Ronnie, what sets the Emerald apart from your Fox, your RockShox, your Marzocchi, if I may?
You know what? There's a lot of different things that are really, really outstanding with the Emerald. We have a feature called the OTT, which is called the off the top. It allows you to preload your top out spring, and it gives you a very, very wide range of adjustability for a wide range of riders. Heavier guys, let's say you're anywhere from 200 to 245 pounds. It allows you the adjustability to get that rider to actually get a perfect feeling fork, and not something close to perfect, but perfect.
Very cool. And I know your guys' rise has been really kind of quick, but you guys also have a lot of history in suspension. So maybe tell us a little bit about your history and how that's playing into how quick you guys are bringing this stuff to market.
Oh man, we have a pretty good bunch of heads at the company. I've been doing this for about 15 years. We have guys that have been working in this industry and in the suspension industry specifically for close to 30 years. So there's a great combination of us, and just all of our brains working together ends up with anything from the marketing side to the actual engineering side. We all sit in the same room every day for the past 14 or 15 months developing what we believe is the best product in the suspension industry.
Very cool. Now maybe you can tell us a little bit. A bunch of companies have tried doing inverted forks and to varying degrees of success. So we've had stuff that's overly flexy, and if it's not overly flexy, it's overly heavy. So how have you guys addressed these issues?
The main thing with an inverted fork is weight. Either you're going to have a really light fork that's flexy, or a heavy fork that's stiff but still not stiff enough. So there's always a compromise, and we seem to have come pretty close to fixing that with the CTA. It offers quite a bit of lateral rigidity over any of our competitors. So far, all of our testing has been very well proven that it still maintains quite a bit of traction, and also allows that compliant ride that a lot of people are still looking for out of an inverted fork.
Very cool, very cool. Well, we're going to take a quick little cut here, and then we'll come back and look at the insides of these forks. All right, so we're back here with Bryson Jr., also with DVO Suspension, one of the key guys in getting this all set up and running. He's also one of their racers and recently took a second place at some pretty cool games. So we're really excited about that. But we are wondering, with having this suspension, how did you let your suspension down so much by not taking first?
Well, like Ricky Bobby puts it, if you're not first, you're last. So I was pretty embarrassed, honestly. I wasn't even going to go on the podium. But, no, it was an awesome weekend, and I was happy to be a part of it. And my dad raced it back in the day, and all he did was talk about it. So it's good to ride the course. And we also got to do some awesome testing on the fork. So this fork has got some really, really cool tuning features. As a racer, I have utilized pretty much all of them. I utilize them almost every time I ride. One of the coolest features, my favorite one, is the bottom loader compression system. So the compression system features high and low speed, and it can also be easily removed just like that. So the idea is for a racer to have 4 or 5 of these, and they can come down to the bottom of the hill after a run, pull it out, and drop another one back in that's got different shims and a different piston in it, and you have a completely retuned fork, and you can go up for another run in a matter of minutes. So it's awesome for racing where you have a limited time to practice. So you have Cedric racing World Cups, and he doesn't have that much time to practice. So he can come down, he can retune his fork, and head right back up and do another run. So in a small amount of time, you can do a whole lot.
Very cool. And it looks like with that setup, you wouldn't have to worry about fluids or anything like that. Is that correct?
Yeah, so you flip the bike upside down, you unscrew it, a couple of oil drips basically fall off of it, and then you put another one back in, and you're up doing another run.
Very cool.
Yep.
Now, I know you guys have designed this to be really user-friendly, easily rebuildable and stuff. So will we have some kind of PDF or videos available around purchase time that will allow people to work on their forks safely?
Yeah, we're gonna do all kinds of cool stuff on our website, teaching people how to work on the fork, because like we always say, you can have the best suspension in the world, but if you don't know how to use it, it's pretty much worthless. So we're gonna have all kinds of cool stuff on how to tune your fork, on how to rebuild it, how to change the oil. And changing the oil is extremely simple in this thing. I've done it at local bike shops in Whistler when I'm by myself. You just basically just undo the loader and then dump the oil out and put oil back in, and then close it up, and you're ready to go. So it's been really easy for me to tune, and I'm a racer background, so I am lazy when it comes to working on bikes. So I definitely like it.
Very cool. Now, some of the other fork history back there has had some issues with leaking and stuff, but tell me about the longevity of the seals that you guys have been experiencing so far.
The longevity has been great. I've been on my fork since Sea Otter time. It's the first time I got to ride it, and I haven't changed the oil seals, changed the bushings. I haven't changed anything on it. I'm basically doing a long-term torture test on it to make sure everything's holding up, and everything's been great so far. So the cool thing about the inverted fork is the oil is always sitting on the seals. So the seals are always going to be lubricated, and as an inverted fork compresses, it's pushing dirt away from it. So you're not pushing dirt into the seals like on a conventional fork. You're pushing dirt away from it. So the longevity increases, and we're also using extremely high performance materials inside of it. So we're not cutting corners when we can to get costs down. So the longevity was a big factor, and we also have almost 400 cc's of oil inside the fork. So where other companies like to skimp on oil levels for basically cost and weight, we decided that wasn't an area we were going to do that. So
very cool. That seems pretty logical. Makes sense how we could keep a fork happy for longer.
Yeah.
So what kind of colors are we going to see this fork in, and are we going to have the shock matching as well?
Yeah, we're going to have two colorways for right now. It's going to be we're going to have the emerald green one, and then I like to call this one the murdered out black one. So we're going to have that, and then the shock is going to come in black and green.
Very cool. So yeah, I'm always a fan of the murked out look, but I know that emerald green is getting a lot of attention too.
Yeah, it is color of the year.
And how about in the single crown fork? What kind of color options are we going to have in that?
The single crown one is still in its earliest, prototyping phases. The one that we do have is pretty much made out of plastic. So colorways are kind of on the end of the list for things to do right now, but I'm sure they're going to be coming in some pretty flashy colors.
Very cool. Flashy is always awesome. And then finally, what kind of a release date are we looking for the Emerald and the Jade, and what kind of a MSRP are you thinking?
Full MSRP is going to be around $2,200, and release date is going to be late September to early November. We're going to start really getting them all out there. So.
Very cool. Well, I look forward to getting my free shock and new fork, and this has been Seth with Jenson USA, your cycling experts. Thanking Bryson and Ronnie for helping us learn a bit about the new technology that they're putting out there. All right, thanks guys. We'll see ya.